Welcome to Small Insight, Big Impact, the podcast where we explore ideas, strategies to improve our personal and professional lives to make impact. I am your host, Dr. David Tsetse. Today I will be tackling a topic that is at the core of every successful organization or company, promoting a culture of performance and results. A results-driven culture, what does it really mean? This word, results-driven culture, it's often used around the corporate world, even in organizations and meetings. But in practice, it's far more than just a tagline. It is actually the engine that propels the growth of the organization, the forward thinking, the transformational goals, aspirational goals that leads into achievement for the organization or company. So it is about clarity, accountability, empowerment. It's the difference between a team that is simply busy and a genuinely productive team. That's what performance culture is all about. Many leaders often mistakenly believe that performance culture is built through pressure and micromanagement, but that's not the case. Instead, micromanagement kills morale and stifles innovation. A truly effective performance culture is built on trust, transparency, and a shared understanding for what exactly success looks like. So, for the next few minutes, I will be covering everything from how to set expectations that resonate to the act of giving feedback that inspires. So, this episode is for everyone. The first and most critical component of a result of a performance culture is an alignment. You need to make sure your team knows what exactly they are aiming for so that they can possibly achieve or hit the target that you've given them. You have to translate those big ideas or goals, meaning a company mission and vision, into concrete, actionable targets for every person in the team. And this is where the concept of objective and key results come in, or other similar methodologies that have been used in different organizations. Basically, these provide a simple, transparent framework for setting ambitious goals and making sure that progress is measured. The objective or an objective is basically talking about the what you want to achieve. It's the what you want to achieve. And the key results looks at the how, the measurable outcomes that determine if you've succeeded or not. And these are normally like outcomes or impact. So instead of having a vague goal like grow customer base, a results-based goal could sound something like, delight our customers and expand our market research. And then a key results linked to that could be achieve a customer satisfaction rate of 95% or higher. So you see, these ones have clear, measurable indicators. When every employee can see how their work contributes to this specific measurable outcomes, they feel a sense of purpose that they are contributing to the bigger picture or the vision, the victory of the company or the organization. So clarity in the goals extend to the roles and responsibilities of each and every staff member or employee. Everyone in the team needs to know who owns and or does what. When there is ambiguity, there is inefficiency. So roles and tasks have to be clear to avoid cracks and also avoid wasting resources in terms of time that are being used to address them. Once you have clarity, the next step is to ensure accountability. And this often is the part of the performance culture that gets a bad rap. Because the accountability aspect is not really about finding blames of, finding people to, put under the bus. It's mainly about defining ownership, making sure that people know what exactly they have to do and they take steps to own that whole process. And it's also about taking responsibility for each and everyone's commitment and also making sure that success, when they achieve their goals, it's celebrated and they are also able to learn from setbacks and apply it in their tasks to continue a process of high performing tasks. So how do you foster a performance culture that links to positive accountability in your organization or company? Well, there are a couple of things you can do. So one, you need to establish a regular check-in with your team. Instead of waiting for formal quarterly reviews, implement regular informal check-ins. This could be 1 week or 2 weeks. I do them every 2 weeks with my staff. And this should be the opportunity for you to collaborate and share ideas. The focus should be on the staff member, and it should be on progress or roadblocks or support, depending on what the staff member wants to hear. And this should always be like 15 minutes to 45 minutes. And then the location can be decided by the staff member. Remember the idea, it's an informal meeting and it's for you to catch up on issues that are really at the heart of the employee. The other thing that you need to do is to be transparent. When goals are bad or results are bad or good, you have to make them known to the entire family, the entire team. It's not only about talking or presenting good goals, but when things go wrong too, that has to also be communicated to the team. So use a shared dashboard on public project management tools and other tools that you have in the organization to showcase the progress that you are making and also the challenges that you are facing with regards to performance and results in your area. This will create transparency and your team will be motivated, knowing very well that they are all contributing to the progress and also working together to address any challenges that they are being faced as a team. The third thing that you also need to do is to take steps to empower the team and then the individual employees as well. Give your team the necessary tools, resources, and then the autonomy that they need to be able to succeed. Remember, when employees feel like they are controlled over their work and then their ability to make decisions, it's not the best for them. They feel that a greater sense of ownership comes to them when they are allowed to do their own thing. So autonomy, it's very important and it's a powerful driver for performance. So it communicates trust. And trust, remember, trust is the foundation of every high-performing team. So the fifth point that you also have to look at is to hold yourself as a team leader accountable. So remember, you have to model the behaviors that you want your team members to see. And when you make mistakes, you have to accept them, own them. And then you also have to make sure you deliver on your promises, acknowledge and explain plans that will lead to course corrections and transparency and other issues that will come up. Make sure you have clear, accountable standards for yourself and also for everyone in the team. Remember, with clarity and accountability in place, it is important to also develop a feedback or a development process that will help the employees and the team as a whole. A results-driven culture relies on a feedback system. And the feedback system, it's more for growth, but not for punishment. So you should look at it as a positive, constructive process or system that will help people grow and not to punish them. And this could involve continuous conversations, documented meetings and other methods that you see fit in your situation. So here are 4 suggestions that I want to present to you to help you make your feedback system or process more positive to drive high performance. 1, you need to focus on the behavior, not the person. So when you are evaluating or getting feedback, it's very important you focus on the behavior of the employee, not the person itself. So that's one thing you need to look at and make sure that comes out. And then the other thing that is also very important that you need to consider when trying to work with staff to have a good feedback system is to make sure that you provide your feedback real time where appropriate. You don't have to wait for formal reviews or formal meetings to be able to give feedback. If you notice it and you feel like it will constructively improve the situation and the person involved, find space and time to give that feedback to the person immediately so that the person will start working on them. It is also important to make your feedback process a two-way street. That means you give feedback and they also are free and open to give feedback to you as well. And you both receive it through a positive lens. So in this case, you can ask questions like, what could I have done differently to support you in this particular project? Or what's one thing I could do to be more effective, to be a more effective leader for this team or for your team? So you see that is the questions are developed in a more positive tone that will bring out the positive side for you to use as part of your feedback review process. And it's also important to connect feedback to growth. So when you receive feedback from your employees or they give you feedback, it's not just receiving it and then shelving them. You need to look at the growth aspect of yourself or your team and make sure that the feedback is aligned or will support the growth initiatives that you would like to take or you are already taking. That's the best way to use the feedback. And one thing you also have to consider when using feedback is to make sure that you have an accountability mechanism in place where you are able to check on how far you've used the feedback to develop yourself and where you are not using them. So I would advise you have a peer-to-peer mentor that will check on how well you're actually utilizing the feedback in your development process. The next thing, which is almost obvious but sometimes underplayed, it's in a resource culture, it's to celebrate. Recognize people who do or who produce results and who are high performance in your organization or company. Because if you don't, they will tend to be average because they will not they will feel like their contributions are not recognized, and that could lead to uh, their morale being down and not later on producing more. So you have to find ways to publicly acknowledge them in either whatever way that you see fit in your organization, so that they feel that what they have done or what they are doing is being seen and recognized across the organization. You also have to find a way of rewarding them, depending upon what your organization or company policies allow, so that they have this sense of achievement in them. And this could be small rewards or big rewards, depending upon what is appropriate in your company or your organization. Recognition, peer recognition. So that's so in this case, employees you empower employees to recognize each other. So employees can notice or send, hey, this particular staff or colleague is doing this. So with that, everybody is on the lookout for who is performing high and who is not. And in that case, when you are able to use that process, you get a better, a way of rewarding people that you might have missed during your own review. It is also important for you to invest in development of your staff. Give them the opportunities to grow professionally, provide them resources on conferences and trainings, and where your company and your organization allows, support them financially to be able to gain all new insights, so that they'll translate that into whatever they do to continue to be high performance in the organization. Finally, and perhaps the most importantly, a resource culture must be built on purpose, on well-being. Remember, a resource culture, it's not about driving people to burnout. It's about inspiring them to do their best work because they believe in the mission and vision of the company and organization. A company or organization that pushes for results without caring for its people is ultimately unsustainable. So it is important for companies and organizations to take steps to avoid this. One, it's to try and connect work to purpose. And then two, you also have to make sure that you promote work-life integration, and this can take different forms depending upon what your company and the context allows. And then three, prioritization. Prioritize the well-being of your staff, because without them, you will not be able to have a good workforce. So you need to prioritize that over any other thing. And then you also have to make sure that your resource-based culture is adaptable. You have a learning culture in the organization that people can adjust, learn, and then improve themselves. So by doing all these, you're able to help establish a clear goal, foster accountability, and also make sure that people recognize that when they perform high, well, their achievements will be recognized. And with that, you will be able to get a high-performing team and an engaged one, and a team that is inspired to produce or perform at its peak. Thank you for being part of Small Insights, Big Impact. I am Dr. Tsetse. Until next time, be intentional, be transparent, and keep striving for excellence.